Hello and welcome to this week's Creator Weekly. I'm Peggy Kay and I'm here to talk about this week's top updates for creators. If you're interested in more information, getting links to the announcements, there is a link in the video description. And if you're here live, please say hello in the chat. First of all, I want to say Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. I hope you're having a special day today. And if you're in the US, I hope you're having a great 3-day weekend for Juneteenth. So this week, there are updates for monetization on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Twitter. Seems like everyone's talking about making money. There's an update to Google domains, which are being sold. And then there is an update to Instagram broadcast channels, which are being rolled out to all creators. But first, I wanted to talk a little bit about the new information. Google just emailed to pretty much everyone that Album Archive is going to be going away on July 19th. And I've seen a lot of questions about that. What the heck is Album Archive? Do I need to be worried about that? Album Archive was set up when Picasa web albums were closed in I think that was 2016. It was supposed to be a one-stop location for all the images that you uploaded to your YouTube account, to your Google account. So that would be things like Blogger and Google Plus and Hangouts and Google Photos and Google Drive. Basically, you could see all the images in one place. Over the years, they basically stopped using that. You can access your images from inside all those different products and services. So really, at least in my Album Archive, the only things that are still there are images I shared to Hangouts, and most of those have already been migrated to Google Chat. And images from Blogger are shown there, but you can access those from inside your Blogger account using the Media Manager. But if there's images there you want to save, you can use Google Takeout to make an archive that you download, save those images for later, and you might want to do that anyway, just to be certain. There is a link on my website to more information. You can also click the link in the description of the video. So that is the last minute announcement this week that kind of caught everyone by surprise. And it's really not my top update. The top update I had was the new monetization level in YouTube. So let me just make this a little bit bigger. All right. YouTube announced this week that they are going to have a new fan funding tier for the YouTube Partner Program. And it's easier to qualify for this level. And once you do qualify, you'll have access to all of YouTube's fan funding tools. So just to look at this a little bit more carefully, the new thresholds are 500 subscribers. And for those of you who also do Twitch, these are not paid subscribers. YouTube has free subscribers. 500 subscribers rather than 1,000 subscribers. You have to have 3 valid public uploads in the past 90 days, which should be an easy bar to meet. And then you either have to have 3,000 valid public watch hours rather than 4,000, or 3 million valid public shorts views rather than 10 million. If you think about those numbers, this is actually most beneficial to creators who do shorts because they only have to have 3 million views rather than 10 million views in the past 90 days. Whereas if you're making videos on demand, it's 3,000 public watch hours in the past year rather than 4,000. But however you qualify, you go through the same review process. And then if your application is approved, you have access to channel memberships, what they call supers. So that's super chat, super stickers, and super thanks. That's like a tip jar. And you have access to YouTube shopping to sell your own merchandise, and you can have a merch shelf and so forth. So this is a pretty good deal if you are a creator and you haven't quite met the threshold for ad revenue sharing. So that is now a higher tier. And once your channel meets the ad revenue sharing requirements, which is 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time or 10 million shorts views in the past 90 days, then you don't have to go through the full application process again. So it's a much easier path that way. And like always, your content needs to meet the YouTube Partner Program guidelines, should be advertiser friendly, and so forth. So I think this is a great update for creators who haven't quite met those ad revenue sharing eligibility requirements yet. I just want to take a minute to say hello to everyone who's in the live chat this morning. And thank you for joining me today live. I'm glad you're here. I'd like to know what you think about this week's updates. All right, so it wasn't just YouTube this week that introduced updates to monetization. Twitch announced a new Partner Plus program. And unlike YouTube, this is sort of the exact opposite. They have a 70-30 revenue share on the Partner Plus level, but you have to maintain a subscriber account. This is a paid subscriber count of at least 350 recurring paid subscriptions for 3 consecutive months, which is a pretty high bar because it does not include gifted subscriptions. It does not include people using their Prime subscription. So if you have Amazon Prime, that gives you Twitch features, including at least one subscription that you don't have to pay extra for. So this doesn't include that. So this is very difficult to qualify for. I saw some estimates, people saying that this might only be available to something like 2% of current partners. So not 2% of all Twitch streamers, but 2% of partners. So it's a step in the right direction, but it will be interesting to see how many Twitch streamers actually qualify for this. There's also a cap of $100,000. So apparently, if you get this 70-30 revenue share, if you earn up to $100,000, it goes back to the 50-50 revenue share, which seems like, I'm not sure that's a great incentive for the top streamers. We'll see how it goes. As we talked about last week, there are new terms for Twitch. One of the terms is that it doesn't allow co-streaming for anyone. So it's not co-streaming. It's basically simultaneously streaming to Twitch and other competing platforms like YouTube or Facebook. So that might actually make it more difficult for some streamers to grow their audience. We'll see what happens. And not to be outdone, this week, the owner of Twitter announced that they are going to soon start paying creators for ads served in their replies. The catch, of course, is that to be eligible for this, you have to be verified. You have to pay for Twitter Blue, and it only counts for ads served to other verified Twitter Blue subscribers. It's not clear exactly how this is going to work. I'll note that Musk announced that people are going to start earning revenue from the ads in their tweet threads like in February. That obviously didn't happen in February. This is in a few weeks. Who knows if it's actually going to happen. But one thing that's been pointed out is that the way this works is that there's a revenue pool, and it's going to depend on more people leaving comments on your Twitter thread, which incentivizes people to tweet very inflammatory things, get arguments started, even stupid things. One sort of way people increase their engagement is that they tweet something sort of stupid, and then a lot of people feel like they need to respond to that or dunk on that, and what do you know? They've got a lot of quote tweets and replies. So this seems like it's going to maybe be terrible for the quality of discourse on the platform. But we'll see. I don't subscribe on Twitter myself, so I am not going to be eligible. And then the last thing about monetization this week, Meta announced that on Facebook there is professional mode, so anyone can become a creator using your personal profile rather than a page. And they say tens of millions of creators have started using this, and it has a checklist module with tips, and it really is focused on growing your audience. And along with that, you can now earn money in more ways on Facebook. They're testing cross-posting between Instagram branded content reels and stories on Facebook. They've reduced partnership ads eligibility requirements, and that allows brands to run ads from your Facebook page. They're inviting more creators to the performance bonus program that basically rewards creators for post engagement. Again, I don't know how that actually controls for people posting inflammatory things just to boost the engagement on their posts, but I suppose they've thought about that. And they've lowered the monetization eligibility requirements for stars. Stars are like supers on YouTube, where it's like a tip jar kind of thing. And for that, you only need to have 500 followers over the past 30 days. So that seems like an achievable goal on Facebook if that's where you post your videos. There's also ads on Reels being tested, and they're talking about people are going to be able to use copyrighted music from the Facebook audio library and monetize those, similar to the way you can monetize shorts on YouTube. So those are all the big monetization updates for this past week. It seems like most platforms are giving creators more monetization options. I think they recognize that this keeps creators on the platform. I know when Twitch rolled out their new terms of service, and it wasn't quite clear how people could run their own ads for their sponsorships. A lot of people said they were going to leave and go to YouTube or Kick or another platform. So having more monetization options is a way to kind of share the love with creators and keep them posting content, which is what the platforms care about. I want to take a moment and say hello to everyone who's here live. There's some questions about my next update. Just give me just a moment to call up the information. So the next really big update this week is that Google Domains has been sold to Squarespace. Now, this apparently has not been approved by regulators yet. So this sale is still in progress. And the details probably will not come out until the sale is final and there's a date of when this is going to happen, but the information is there. So let me see if I can do that. There's a question from Ismail in the chat. Which domain platform am I using? I register my domain through Namecheap. Easy to do. The price was right. And I kind of feel like, to a certain extent, it's good not to put all my eggs in the same basket, as they say. And this kind of emphasizes it. I have thought in the past that it might be good to register domains with Google Domains because they have this really great integration with other Google products. And, you know, the question is, I think, a good one. Once the sale goes through and all the domains are moved to Squarespace, what is going to happen with the integrations with other Google products? Right now, you can get a domain, and it's really easy to set up a custom domain on Google Sites. It's really easy to set up your custom domain on Blogger. It's really easy to set up Google Workspace with email. All of those things are integrated. Is it going to be just a couple clicks like it is now, or is it really going to be like linking any other third-party domain where you have to jump through more hoops and change more settings, and it requires a bit more technical knowledge? I think those are big questions that are still open. This is one to watch, though. Again, we don't have a timeline. Squarespace sounds like it's thinking of Google's customers. It says it will honor the price you paid for at least a year, which is important because I think Squarespace charges more than Google Domains for domain renewal. And it sounds like Google is working with them to try and make this as painless as possible. But we'll see what happens exactly with that. So those are some of the big updates this week. The last one I wanted to talk about really briefly is this update from Instagram, which is for broadcast channels. This is a new thing they launched last February, where basically you have something that looks kind of like a Twitter stream, but there's no replies or anything. It's a one-to-many posting. You can post text, you can post polls, you can post audio announcements. You can see that Mark Zuckerberg has been posting on the official Meta channel. So people can, like what you post, and people can respond to polls, but they can't comment. So it's kind of interesting that they're doing this. It's open to more creators worldwide now. So if you're on Instagram, you might want to give this a try. It sounds like they're going to have more features. See, the current update, they're expanding broadcast channels globally. They're testing question prompts. They're testing a dedicated channels tab in your Instagram inbox. They're testing the ability to have collaborators, so you can kind of co-post with someone else. So these are all pretty interesting changes on Instagram, which is a visual platform, but they've acknowledged, I think, that creators want a way to just post short updates to their followers. Instead of going to Twitter, they want you to stay on Instagram. So those are some of the big updates this week. There's a few more that you can see if you click the link to my roundup post in the description, or if you subscribe to my email newsletter. Again, there's a link in the description. There were some updates to Google's Search Console for giving you information about why videos aren't indexed. And Google also has a new way to report bad web pages. And there's some additional updates for YouTube for channels that have like at least 20,000 subscribers and so forth. So there's a lot this week. And I wanted to leave you with a suggestion of something to try. I think that that's always kind of fun, to try something new. And this week, it's Adobe Express. Now, Adobe Express is Adobe's free online photo and design tool. And they have just revamped it completely. There is a new beta version that you can sign up for. And it has templates and themes, not only for creating images, but also for like TikToks and Reels. And you can use them for shorts, short vertical videos with animations and so forth. And it also has Adobe's Firefly AI image generation tool integrated with it. It's free, it's web-based, it's adobe.com/express. So give that a try this week. I'm posting it in the chat. And I will say that it actually works pretty well on my Chromebook. This really looks like it is going after Canva, which is what I usually use. I have a quick question from the comments. Do I think Google can close or sell Blogger after Google domains? No. Well, they can do anything, but I doubt that will happen. They're basically just going to remove the domains integration as a feature inside Blogger. You can still add a custom domain. I mean, I use Blogger. I have a custom domain. It's, like I said, it's that Namecheap. And I just had to go through some steps to change the settings with my domain registrar to set up the custom domain on Blogger. The advantage of using Google domains is that it was all integrated. So you could start in your Blogger account, you could just click a button, purchase a domain, and a few clicks, it was all set up. I suspect that's not going to be an option anymore once the sale is finalized, but we will see what happens. And this is the link to Adobe Express. Again, I think that it's a great tool. I personally use Canva to do graphics, but Adobe Express seems like it's going to be a good competitor, especially now that it has video templates and other tools for making animations and so forth. So those are the updates for this week. Again, I hope you're having a great weekend, and I hope you join me next week. Maybe there won't be quite so many updates with the holiday here in the US on Monday, but who knows? Have a great rest of your weekend, and I will see you next Sunday.